Here. Here.
Alderman Carr. Here. Alderman Roll. Four present, Your Honor.
Having a motion to approve city council minutes from July 26, 2022, regular city council meeting. Motion, Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Carr on the question. Clerk, will you do the roll?
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
There we go. Thank you for your blotto.
Aye. So until we get a fifth, we're gonna have to bypass some of the financial stuff on it. Any public comments?
Good evening. What a pleasant weather we're having outside, right, for an August morning. In staying with that positive vein first, I can only celebrate this city with the music that happened at the farmers market this past Saturday. So if you go to the farmers market, you missed live music. Keep it up. You know, that's the kind of stuff that helps us have community. That helps us end up meeting some of our neighbors that we might not otherwise have met, you know, have reason to talk, you know, if nothing else for the music. So that's definitely one of the positives that I myself had to bring to your attention as a musician who's looking to go back home and do some music. So I'm going to keep this short. The circumstance around town the other day reminded me a little bit of Augustino Corpus and what bothered me and what motivated me to do some research on that whole curve. It had to do with authority, you know, job title. You know, how did somebody who had XYZ job title get, you know, what happened? The circumstance I got in the middle of motivated me to pull back some of my old school, you know, my old school skills. And I did spend a few hours reviewing every meeting minute that was online, for example, every agenda. I was reading the municipal code. I won't necessarily read off my notes, but I was busy taking notes and all that kind of stuff. But my landing point would be this short rather than reading through the notes. At this one moment standing before you, I cannot speak truthfully through evidence that I found front facing that I believe is very important when it comes to authority figures who have police powers here in the city. You know, if we didn't say police chief, you know, we just said law enforcement official, people like me, you know, who have no idea what's going on, we're going to wonder what does law enforcement official mean versus, oh, that's the police chief, I get it. You know what I mean? That's the top of the top. This is the leader of this department. So I suppose, you know, I spoke to a few, just making some citations about my concern, because had I not witnessed this and somebody else had, I'm not sure the outcome would have been as positive as I'm going to view it. There was some tension that didn't need to be present, but because we as people in a nation get to do things like this, stand before you, speak my truth, and ask for your consideration. Please pay attention to the titling, because right now I believe you guys are missing one job title right now, and it's causing some conflict. And I can't state for confidence if that's true or not. I just couldn't find any evidence, you know, kind of thing. And that's, we can do better kind of stuff, because if there is a problem, you all are going to need to fix your way through it during your alderman thing. So on that note, I'm going to go do what I promised, which is go back home and do some music. And again, as always, just thank you all. I appreciate this opportunity to stand before my government and speak much. So have an amazing night. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Good evening.
Hey.
I own and live at the property at 14039 Coopersville Road. There's, I guess, some code enforcement going on about parking overnight without a car being registered to Blue Island, which a car that my 16-year-old son drives. The car is registered to Homewood. His dad and I co-parent, so he's back and forth between the two houses. And there isn't any signs out there, so I'd like to know how we can go about putting signs out there. This is the first time that I've heard of this code or ordinance. And we weren't, there wasn't a warning or anything, we were just taking it. So how can we go about getting something that's put out there so the other residents will know about this ordinance?
Sending email today to us.
I did.
We're gonna ask for the city administrators, you talk to them before you leave.
Sorry, what was that?
We'll watch.
Okay,
Hopefully we answer some questions.
okay. Thank you.
Mayor, can add anything?
No,
Yes. I know we have an ordinance that actually blankets the whole city. But in that area, we don't really have issues with parking. So, our police officers been kind of working with us. And I'm sorry that happened to you. But I am your alderman for that part of the city. If you, you can call me direct or.
Do you have a card?
I do not have any.
I've been in that house for 9 years, and this is the first time that I've ever heard that I've had people come stay,
Yeah,
you know, things like that. And I understand, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I get it, and I understand now. The thing is, warn your residents, like, I pay taxes too, so I should be warned.
well, until the new administration came, it was hard for us to see different amendments, different laws and ordinances. Until now, we've grown around, started looking at it. But it's actually hard, even as we do it for a living, to keep up with all of it.
Exactly.
But I know that might have became an issue in the area that we stay in because we don't really have parking issues.
Exactly.
But up here, they have a lot.
Yeah, and I get that, and that brings me to another point, I'm sorry.
I want to remind city council that we'll have a sidebar on this public comment.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mayor.
And we will continue the conversation.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one other thing. I'll direct it to your website. Your website is not user friendly, so.
We're in the process of that though.
Okay.
All right. We have a swearing. Any other public comment?
Good evening. Good to see everybody here this evening. Thank you for your service to our city. My name is Ron Bloom. I live on Walnut Street. I've been a resident here for 36 years. And I wanted to come before you tonight because it's a rather somber occasion. Some of you may know, some of you may remember. It's been about 2 years ago, August 8th. It was a hot night. It was a steamy night. The neighbors came out screaming. Jeanette Penny King was struck by a speeding car that ran a stop sign in Walnut Cluster. A distracted driver rushing to a local club on her phone. Almost 90 years old and a beloved member of the community that Penny called home. And we were a better community because of it. Penny was flipped down the hood of the car, fell to the street, taken away in an ambulance, went into a coma and died 2 weeks later. Senselessly. The person that hit her was not prosecuted. So what has changed? Even a casual observation, cars are speeding well over the posted speed limit on Western and on our side streets. Day and night. It's even worse on the weekend. Speed monitors are put up to tell you your speed, but I'm curious what's done with the results. Blue Island is a walking community. People of all ages, children up and down Western Avenue. People walking their dogs, kids on skateboards, side streets, alleys. We have the section between Walnut and Union that is quote unquote an alley, but it's used as a northbound alternative to Vincennes. It's amazing how fast cars go down Walnut Street, and I'm sure other side streets. The only thing that sometimes slows them down is potholes that we've got, which is kind of a sad commentary. Even Park District vehicles. So an observation some time ago, when Western Avenue was redone, and it's been many years, but there was a lot of thought put into putting in the crosswalks, the stamped paved crosswalks. They were painted, they were well marked. A small thing, but I see the curbs are being repainted, so maybe that's something that could be considered. Other areas have put in speed humps, enhanced markings at stop signs. School is starting, kids will be rushing to and fro, parents will be out and about. So what will change to address the senseless death of our beloved Penny? Due to speeding and a distracted driver, rest in peace, Penny. Thank you very much. Oh, and I'd like to acknowledge, thank you for protecting our community day and night, 7/24, putting your lives on the line every day. Our police, our emergency responders, thank you for being there.
Any other public comments? Now we have some swearing in. Two police officers. I, Ranger George James,
I, Ranger George James,
have been appointed to the office of police officer
have been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
County of Cook,
County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
Constitution for the state of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
to the best of your ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amber Bulikowski. Jeremy. I state your name.
I, Andrew Wodowski,
Have been appointed to the office of police officer
have been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
County of Cook,
County of Cook,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear to
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
to the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alderman, if you want to go ahead and say that.
For everyone that's coming in as police officers and firemen, we are, as the city, and as taxpayers, are paying a down payment on homes to stay in Blue Island.
The program that's offered, maybe go short recess unless you guys want to hang out. Pretty late.
Chief, I got donuts in the back.
Under mayor's reports. Need a motion to approve payroll. Amount $350,653.94. For a motion, Alderman Dees, and Alderman Carr. Question. Roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell. Alderman Montoya. Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Five ayes.
Carries. Second item, for B, motion for approval of accounts payable in the amount of $329,750.33. Is there a motion? Alderman Fairwell, second Alderman Carr on the question. Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
So we were running up, so we vote aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr. Aye. Five ayes.
Okay, we need under C, resolution, discuss an executive resolution, the city of Blue Island, County, Illinois, to authorize and approve the release and settlement agreement in case number 21-CB-2868. For a motion, Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman McGee on the question. Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya. Alderman McGee. Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Five ayes.
Thank you. I'll start off with mayor's announcements. I don't have too many details yet, but the bunting will be going up in the next few days. Former Alderman Kenneth Pittman passed away.
Oh, man.
I believe just today. Not only was he an alderman, he was also a lifelong resident and just been in the community, along with owning several businesses in town, small fry, color home printing. So as soon as we get more information, I'll pass it on to the alderman. But that's probably why the bunting will go up tomorrow. I'll start with that. Bad news. Good news. Street projects is going to start sometime September 1st. As soon as I got the concrete start date, once it is starting the 1st, I believe they're moving on the 19th. Going south from there. I'll let all aldermen know which exact streets we've done. They are obligated to notify all the residents, but it's always good that we also notify the residents of the parking situation in some of these streets. But that's going to be starting, and they feel it's going to be completed by November 30th. So 50 blocks of repaving that's going to be done before the fall, before the late fall. Lyric Theater is having a ribbon cutting that we're hosting along with Lyric Theater themselves. So Thursday night at 7 p.m. So I invite anybody that wants to attend, especially the elected official and the public. So at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Finalize St. Bernard's Carnival, 117th year. No issues except for rain all day on Sunday. And from what I can tell from the pastor over there, is extremely happy, but he always is. That he has put money on the church going from there. And then police have met along with myself, with superintendent and officials from District 218. They're going to have their own sidebar meetings with the police department regarding the start of school, which for all our districts is going to be the third Friday this week. It feels like it came up really fast this year. I know I go back on Thursday with my students in my school. You guys now starts on Friday. But the police department is already working with, especially our school resource offices, with our pedestrian issues along 127th Street. And also the grade schools. I know they've also had the district 30. That's all I have under mayor's report. Sure. Clerk's announcements.
I missed the last meeting, so I'd like to thank everybody for the anniversary bike ride. It was a success. It was happy to see all the officials out on the street. They're hoping to make it even more next year. National Night Out, you guys get a chance to come on Monday. It was huge. It was a lot of people, a lot of food. City, I want to thank all the city volunteers and official police department. Wednesday, 11 o'clock, we're going to have a staff appreciation pickup at Public Works. All the aldermen are invited. Thursday, we're going to have a ribbon cutting at 7 o'clock. Friday night is a great fundraiser at the Lyric. I believe not sure if you're interested, let me know and get your tickets online or invite at the door that night. October 1st, we are working on a health fair at Jackie Rec Center. We're working closely with Dr. Johnson and Mr. Jackson. Trunk or treat will be October 29th at the Park District. If you have any questions, we will all have a car and see Toya for more details. October 15th, we're doing the alternate, we're doing scarecrows again at Northern Western Park. And I have a spot for all the aldermen if you'd like to build your scarecrow deck. And then November 2nd is Day of the Dead celebration in Northern Western. Also, I forgot to mention, this Friday, the station is giving a back to school fair in front of their apartment building complex. They're giving away book bags, that's the kids.
I'm sorry, when is that again?
The last one?
Yeah.
Blue Station is on Friday, it's Friday, I'm not sure the time, but they're blocking out the street for a couple hours, we can do a little barbecue, give them free, things.
You blocking off the set, not the set.
No, the side street.
Right,
On the 22nd, Vincent's.
they would have offices. Their offices. Under treasurer's announcements, we just need to approve the July 2022 treasurer's report. Is there a motion? Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Montoya. Question? Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr. Aye.
Okay, moving on. The city administrators, now the comments. Don't do too much tomorrow night.
Actually, pretty quickly here. So each has an envelope that you got today, so that is part of our audit process. It is, so as corporate officers of the city, they have a fraud questionnaire, pretty self-explanatory, but they are not required to return it, but they do ask you to return it, feedback, having that kind of box checks as part of our audit is important. So, we probably will, we're aiming to have this audit done by October, so, weeks or so, if all of you give that some attention, we really would appreciate it. And then the other brief thing I want to mention, is that I think you've probably seen in the news, the Cook County Assessor's operation is not having its most banner year. As a result, we are expecting we're basically being told significant delays in our property tax payments. So stuff like this has happened before. This is a little more extreme than usual. They're saying 6 to 8 months. So the payments that we were going to expect to see were around nowish. We're not anticipating those payments. Now, we had to work with our accountants. Financially, we're stable. We're able to keep moving along. But eventually, we're going to need to fill that hole. The fastest way to fill that hole is with what is commonly referred to as a tax anticipation warrant. It basically is normally a tax anticipation warrant is a low interest loan against your future anticipated taxes. So we have a pretty good idea year to year what revenue comes in and roughly when it comes in, so we can take a pretty accurate number and say, that we need X amount to cover that amount. But we are also working with Cook County. The Cook County general government is doing their best to try to build a bridge over this problem. So they are offering some zero interest. They're offering a zero interest loan program. So we are investigating whether or not that might be a better pathway. It won't be open to everybody. It's going to be based on need, and there's only X amount of dollars in that. Obviously, if we go to a financial institution, it's a different situation. We'll pay an interest rate, but we'll have less limitations on how much we would need to borrow. So we will be coming back to you, Mark, myself, coming back to you with some more specific numbers on which pathway, whether a private financial institution or through this county program that we feel is going to be best for the city, and we'll everything else that you also see to different opinions about that. It was an unexpected thing that we have to do, so we just want to make sure that we're talking through it very deliberately, and we're all aware, we're all on the same page of why we're doing this, who's primarily responsible for the reason that we have to do this, and what our pathway, what the potential cost of the city might be.
Just you can Google hundreds of articles about this. Normally, you get the date in July, to August or September. They're saying possibly maybe the end of the year, they extend the bills out. Then you got a few months to pay, and every municipality and school district, we're not as bad as others. We're okay. Not for the assessor issue with the backlog. probably didn't need it at all, didn't need it at all. But we're in the same boat as every single taxing body, my own school district's doing this, especially school districts, 70% of our tax bills. But Google any article, you see there's a big fight between the treasurer's office and the assessor's office. Assessor assess the value, treasurer can't send the bill out to the assessor does their book work, assessor's office does not.
So, yes, we're not anticipating any financial disruption, saying is that this will hit other municipalities, other than smaller units of local government particularly hard. So when I bring up the fee-based part of the county program, we're gonna have to go through a process of, are we in as dire a situation as maybe some bigger municipalities or school districts, park districts, et cetera. So that's where the SD part, that gives it a little bit of uncertainty, but we're going to be able to have some clarity. So those are the only two items I have. And I will update the revenue expenditure tomorrow.
Any questions? Awesome. Thank you. We have automatic now for the comments.
I'm trying to keep it brief, but I did want to kind of an event with the Lakeshore, since they're up for renewal. I got a call from a resident about a week and a half ago. She was pretty angry. Garbage hadn't been picked up kind of periodically over the last several months. And, she was angry, and understandably so, but it was interesting how, as I learned more about it, how, things are never maybe as simple as they seem. Contacted our representative at Lakeshore. She had already been documenting this and had some good photography. And this was an alley situation. It's over by El Ranchito and an alley that tees in there. And there were residents impeding in the alley. The trucks sometimes couldn't get through. There were also delivery trucks, issues like that. So I went to the police chief initially because of a parking issue, and he was extraordinarily helpful. Sent a great letter out to the residents, letting them know they need to not block the alley on those days. I guess we talked to El Ranchito. Lakeshore was very helpful. It initially kind of sounded like Lakeshore was falling down, and really when you looked at it, they weren't. I would say that communication with the resident could have been better, both on Lakeshore's part and our part. But it's getting resolved, and what looked like Lakeshore not doing their job turned out to be not so simple. So it's up to
I know we've had two negotiation meetings with Lakeshore so far. It's sounding very good. There's things we want to add on that we're going to have to as a council. I'm not ready to sign anything yet, but today is worth paying the extra fee to involve stuff we discussed. But we're have resolution pretty soon. We're good till the end of October. I'd like to put this to bed by next month. You have it all?
Yes, go out and Untouchables football and cheer registration. It will be registration at the John Hughes Recreation Center from 9 to 12 on Saturdays. And I just wanted to comment as well about people being responsible pet owners. You guys can curb your dogs, walk them with you, and pick up after. If not, I'm going to be very animated that making things happen about it. Thank you.
Now we need a motion to adjourn. Alderman Fairwell, second by.
there's no Victor thing.
That's Mark.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And that's just point.
Second. All right. All in favor, say aye.